Welcome to Hypnosis Today, the nation's first web TV talk show that explores the fascinating world of hypnotherapy. Hello, my name is Lisa Machenberg, and I'll be your host, covering a wide variety of subjects to help you understand the power of the subconscious mind and how hypnosis is being used today to help people achieve success, happiness, and prosperity. It is my pleasure to introduce my two very special guests. My first guest is Hakeem Alexander, and he is a graduate of HMI's College of Hypnotherapy. He is also a self-defense instructor at Meridian's Bodies in Motion. He has with him today his client, and his name is Patrick Barry. And Patrick came in to see Hakeem to overcome self-doubt and to enhance his athletic performance. Please help me welcome my guests, Hakeem and Patrick. Now, Patrick, what brought you in to see a hypnotherapist?
Well, I was initially very skeptical because I didn't have any exposure to it other than what I had read or seen, sometimes in a Las Vegas show or something like that. But I didn't really think that was the actual gist of hypnosis. And I know Hakeem very well from workout and gym circles, and I was very comfortable with him. And when I found out that he was a hypnotherapist, I told him that I was going through this academy that I was doing as a civilian that's designed for Navy SEAL candidates and special operations candidates that are in their 20s, and I'm 46. So statistically, it was against all odds that A, I would be accepted, and B, that I'd be able to complete it.
So you wanted to go to a program that was designed for Navy SEALs?
Correct. It's founded by Navy SEAls. All the people who go through it are in their 20s. They're literally half my age. Wow. And the cutoff age for Navy SEAL training is 28 years old. So this academy trains pre-candidates, and I was the oldest one to ever get accepted and actually enter it. And what I wanted to do was, the physical aspect wasn't daunting to me because I trained very hard. I'm a former U.S. amateur boxer. I fought Golden Gloves. I've never lost a sanctioned fight in my life competitively. So I train very hard. I run 300 days a year. I go to the gym 300 days a year. And I've done this for decades.
So what was your concern if you knew that you had the physical prowess to pull it off?
This program is not physical because it's 52 hours. It's a Hell Weekend. It's based on the Navy SEAL Hell Week, which is known as the most rigorous in the history of training in military and special operations. It is sleep deprivation. You're not allowed to sleep one wink during 52 hours. And you're on your feet about 50 and a half of those 52 hours, doing very rigorous calisthenics training, running with 30-pound packs. You're carrying a 380-pound log as a team. You're doing hypothermia, what's called water torture, but it's really they call it with the euphemism of hypothermia training. So you're laying in 58 degrees water for 15 minutes at a time to see if you can mentally withstand it. Now, what this training is designed to do is it breaks you physically in the first 4 to 6 hours. Every person in 30 years and during this type of academy training is broken physically within the first 4 to 6 hours. It's scientifically designed to do that. There's no one who's ever not been broken physically.
Yes.
So whether you have the capacity mentally and what I call spiritually to go beyond that is the difference of whether you make it or not. And there's about an 80% failure rate.
And so that's why you went to see Hakeem, is to get the mental toughness, get the belief system to be able to make it through mentally, because you pretty much knew you could make it through physically.
Physically it's very hard, but it's harder mentally, and it really, the program is designed to see how much endurance and capacity your soul has for suffering. And if you have it, then you belong in this community, and if you don't, then hold your head high. You just shouldn't do this.
And you should just walk away.
Right.
Hakeem, with this very specific goal that Patrick had in mind, what kind of hypnosis did you use with him?
Well, for inductions, I did some of the standards, arm levitation, and mainly I didn't really like the way that was going, so I improvised and used a little bit more of Ericksonian conversational hypnosis.
Sure.
And that seemed to work a lot better.
Did you use anything else, any other modality?
Yes, I did. I used, for deepening techniques, I used arm rigidity, refractory hypnosis, counting him in and out. Also did heavy light. But the Ericksonian, the conversational hypnosis seemed to work really well.
how did you feel your depth was in hypnosis?
You know, I was training I have a full-time career as a software executive, so I was working 40 hours a week and training about 27 hours a week, because, you know, in most cases, most people, even the 20-year-olds, they train for a year to 18 months for a program like this. I didn't have that much time, but I train hard year-round physically. So this mental training, as I call it, I think I was most receptive to. I'm not sure if I was really tired or in a deep trance, but what I do know is that in the two areas that we concentrated on, the self-doubt that I had were two areas. They were my ability to withstand the hypothermia water torture, because I don't like cold water.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
No human beings like cold water, especially when you're fatigued, exhausted, cramped, etc., and at your mental capacity or physical capacity. So they use that as a method to see how you can endure hardship and suffering. And we did it dozens of times laying in the Pacific Ocean, in the middle of the night in many cases. Now, so I was really concerned about that, and that's not something you can train for. So I really wanted to physically train for. I wanted to mentally train for that. And then the other thing I wanted to train for was sleep deprivation, because you really can't just stay up for 52 hours just to see, for the hell of it, to see if you can do that.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy. I mean, I stayed up overnight in college to write papers, but this is something different. And so that was the other thing that he addressed. And I thought that, and what I do know in the end result, and I did graduate from this.
You graduated from it?
With a bunch of 20-year-olds, and several 20-year-olds quit. But I was one of the persons who graduated. I was the oldest ever to do it. And what I noticed was that I wasn't tired, like many people. Because I think because of the work that we did.
Hey, I got to stop you, because I need to ask Hakeem. I use a specific sleep deprivation hypnosis for young mothers. What kind of hypnosis did you use to help Patrick withstand the sleep deprivation?
Well, what I did was I coupled it with rehearsing. Basically what I did was have him rehearse through hypnosis, through imagery, through guided imagery of the different things he would be going through that we discussed before, and also giving the suggestion for the sleep deprivation that the equivalent, that hypnosis was like you had time distortion, so that he wouldn't experience the hours that he was awake in the same as he would as it was in real time. So I kind of compressed the time for him.
Oh, I love that. And you completed it, so I want to return to this. When you completed it, you got a lot of press, if I remember.
I did. There was an NBC News segment that was done on me, and there was a film crew there. They happened to be there at the hardest 6 hours, which was on the beach, in the water, and with our 380-pound log that we had to carry around with us. And it was very difficult. So I did get a lot of press, and it was a very rewarding experience, as hard as it was.
Well, everyone wants to know the answer to this question. When you got your interviews, did you mention, I would like to attribute my success to my hypnotherapist, Hakeem Alexander?
I did not do that as yet, but if I go on the Today Show, which is possible,
all right,
I might do that.
All right, great. You know, you started the interview by saying that you were skeptical.
Yes.
What would you tell someone who is looking to contact a hypnotherapist for sports performance, or owning the belief, I can do it?
I'm an advocate. As I've transformed from a skeptic to an advocate. Well, I would say a few things. Number one, I would say do it with someone you're comfortable with, or that you gain comfort with, because I don't know that this would have worked for me in the short time that we did it. We only did a few sessions with someone who I wasn't familiar with. And Hakeem I've known for years. He's an ex-fighter, I'm an ex-fighter, so we have some commonality in terms of our mindset and our familiarity with lifestyles.
Oh,
so
sure.
that was a key thing for me. But secondly, I would say that hypnosis, or at least what I've been exposed to, is not the sensationalistic, dramatic, kind of TV stuff or Vegas stuff that most people are, have a perception of, a misperception of. And it's really a deepening mental state, at least from my layman's view, of suggestion. Suggestion to really overcome your negative self-talk and your disbeliefs. And physically I was very capable of this, due to the training that I've undergone and the training that I went through. But I don't think there's any human being, whether it's Lance Armstrong or any Olympian on the planet, who doesn't have a little bit of self-doubt. And I needed every advantage I could. I was statistically not supposed to finish this. I wasn't even supposed to be accepted into this. So I wanted every advantage, and this is what gave me the advantage. So I'm definitely a believer. I don't think that it's anything like you see in Vegas shows,
Yes.
but being able to go deeper into one's mind and suggest the power, to unleash the power that's there,
Yes.
through suggestion and deepening and thought processes and the things that Hakeem took me through, is a very powerful thing, and I lived it.
You know what? I agree. And I know that everyone is going to want to know more about how you use hypnosis, and you have the credibility because of the other things that you do physically. Everyone's going to want to learn more about your unique brand of hypnotherapy and overcoming that self-doubt. And you can reach Hakeem Alexander on hmigrads.com. I want to thank Patrick and I want to thank Hakeem for joining me today on Hypnosis Today. But I'll tell you what, we need to take a short break. But please stay tuned, because when we return, we're going to meet a Hypnosis Motivation Institute instructor and her young client, 10-year-old David. Stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, thank you. Did you have some fun filming her today? Welcome to Hypnosis Today, the nation's first web TV talk show that explores the fascinating world of hypnotherapy. Hello, my name is Lisa Machenberg, and I'll be your host, covering today his client. And his name is Patrick Barry. And Patrick came in to see Hakeem to overcome self-doubt and to enhance his athletic performance. Please help me welcome my guests, Hakeem and Patrick. Now, Patrick, what brought you in to see a hypnotherapist?
Well, I was initially very skeptical because I didn't have any exposure to Navy SEAL candidates and special operations candidates that are in their 20s, and I'm 46. So statistically, it was against all odds that A, I would be accepted, and B, that I'd be able to complete it.
So you wanted to go to a program that was designed for Navy SEALs?
Correct. It's founded by Navy SEALs. All the people who go through it are in their 20s. They're literally half my age. Do it, other than what I had read or seen, sometimes in a Las Vegas show or something like that. But I didn't really think that was the actual gist of hypnosis. And I know Hakeem very well from workout and gym circles, and I was very comfortable with him. And when I found out that he was a hypnotherapist, I told him that I was going through this academy that I was doing as a civilian that's designed for
a wide variety of subjects to help you understand the power of the subconscious mind and how hypnosis is being used today to help people achieve success, happiness, and prosperity. It is my pleasure to introduce my two very special guests. My first guest is Hakeem Alexander, and he is a graduate of HMI's College of Hypnotherapy. He is also a self-defense instructor at Meridian's Bodies in Motion. He has with him